Hey, everybody, and welcome to the Katie Weaver Show. I've got 10 more seconds before we go live on 1 2 Radio, so I'm going to wait that out and then start the show. All righty. Hey, everybody, and welcome to the Katie Weaver Show. This is Katie. I'm your host. I don't think I'm broadcasting. Hold on. Yep, we got to get the microphone going here. All righty. Well, that's a start. Hey, everybody, welcome to the Katie Weaver Show. This is Katie Weaver. I'm your host. I'm so happy to be here. I hope you guys are having a great day. It is, of course, Tuesday, the 19th of July at about 11 a.m. Pacific time. I'm so happy to be here, and I sure hope you guys are having a great day. I want to let you know we're over in the chat room. You can find that by heading over to 12radio.com. That's number one, number 2radio.com. Click on the chat button and you'll be redirected into the Facebook chat, and we'll gladly let you in the room. That's where all the magic is happening. I am also live streaming this event from my Facebook and YouTube, which is Katie Weaver, Domestic Mystic. So if you can, um, if you want to watch it, you can live stream it there. If you want to listen, you can, of course, do that right here through 1 2 Radio. So that's how it goes. I'm curious to check in. Last week sucked energetically. It was a hard one. I talked to so many of you guys who felt depressed, sad, overwhelmed, despondent. I feel like that full moon in Capricorn kind of brought some of that on. So I'm curious to know what you went through and also if you're feeling better. And I really hope that's true. I want to say hi to Liliane, Renee, Dawn, Laurie, Lucian, Tiffany, Sid. Good to see everyone. Quelly, I hope that you guys, Mary. Uh, anyway, curious to know how everyone is doing, of course. I do want to let you know that my banner is at the top of the page, so you can find it over at 1 2 Radio if you want to chat there. But I also want you to know that I can see your posts as well. If you're just commenting in the live stream, I can certainly see that as well. So, any way you do it, I should be able to see you. Hey, Denise. Mary, you're not seeing the live? It's there. I'm not sure what to tell you. Maybe try again. It is there. Okay. And we definitely will have some time for readings today. So it'll be a later in the show. But if you would like to comment or ask a question, I'll try and get back to it. Ah, Chris said that Moon kicked her butt. Yeah, I know. It was a saddie. It was for me too. Last, Friday, I guess, or Thursday, I was so depressed and low, I could hardly function. And I kept thinking, God, what is my problem? I really think it was that moon. Yeah. Oh, Chris said that moon brought up a lot to heal. It was ugly, but worth it. Haven't had a screaming cry for a long time. Yeah, I hear you. I hear you. Yep, Mary said she also, or Laurie had a rough month as well, but definitely feeling better now. Good. And Sid said she felt tired and stressed, but it could have been the unsettled thunder. Yeah. Jane's here shoving stuff in closets for the cleaners, but listening. Lordy, I saw your Facebook post about that. Looks like you've been through it. Ah, Lucian said it's hot over in the UK. It's been really hot here too. Really hot. And I think it makes me really grouchy, to be honest. But it was cooler. It was 50 degrees when we got out of bed this morning, which is, a far cry from the 95 that we maxed out at yesterday. That's a big jump. And we do that here where I live, but I was thinking about how much that might affect just how you're feeling in general. Pretty interesting. Tiffany says she doesn't see the live either. That is really weird. Some people are seeing it, but tech is, well, it's tech. Yeah. Mm. Pamela said the Capricorn moon kicked her booty pretty hard and hasn't let up yet. Oh, I'm sorry, babe. I hope that gets better right away for sure. Oh, the overnight low in Denver was 72. That is one nice thing about Idaho is that we do really cool down at night, and I know a lot of places you guys don't, and we're dang lucky that way that it cools down that much because God, I hate it. So, can't it just be fall yet? Can't it just be fall forever? Why? Our greenhouses are looking crazy though. Scott has a new system for his hydroponics this year. He set up a second greenhouse and oh my God, the tomatoes, absolutely love it. However, the first greenhouse suffered a bit of a blow when one of the pigs managed to get through the door, and all of the lower hanging vines from the cucumbers and the squash got gobbled up. So that sucks. But I think they'll probably repair themselves though, because it's just everything in the greenhouses is just going nuts. So that's kind of fun. That's a good thing. At least we have that, I guess. We have some really interesting things to talk about today. So, today is the day that many witches were hung in Salem, Massachusetts. It was July 19th. Of course, it's been a long time ago, but it was July 19th, 1692. So, I wanted to tell you about Susanna Martin. You may have also heard her called Goody Martin. Susanna Martin, in my eyes, was kind of one of the original badasses that wasn't playing and wasn't putting up with bullshit, which may have cost her her life. But then again, she wasn't putting up with shit. And this is who she was. This is the person that I want to tell you about. So, Susanna Martin was born in England. She was the fourth daughter and youngest child in her family. Her mother died when she was little, and then she was raised by a stepmother. Her family moved to Massachusetts when she was 18. She ended up marrying a widower named George Martin and had 8 children with him. And eventually, well, in 1669, she was first formally accused of witchcraft by a man named William Sargent. And her husband stood up for her and sued Sargent for 2 counts of slander against her, one for accusing her of being a witch, and one for claiming one of her sons was a bastard. He withdrew the second count, but the court upheld the accusation of witchcraft. Isn't that interesting? So early on in all of this nonsense, people were actually not putting up with it. Yeah. But later down the line, that charge was dismissed. I just thought that was really interesting. At one point, if you accused people of shit that was ridiculous, the courts would actually find on your side. And then, as the country got more hysterical and had fallen into more of the drank more of the Kool Aid, I guess we can say, that really started to go away. Uh, there had been also some legal proceedings dealing with the matter of Ursula's inheritance. Her mother is Ursula. And Susanna and George went back to court over that, and then after George's death, they kept going back to court. She went back to court and appealed 5 times and was, apparently ruled against 5 times. But point being, Susanna was someone who was willing, hey, Liz, to stand up for herself. Yeah, one of the first defamation lawsuits, totally. Yeah, you're right, Kelly. Anyway, but she was willing to stand up for herself. She obviously was not the demure woman that stood in the background and not, didn't have a voice so much. And also, her husband supported that. which was not necessarily common for the time, but that was who she was. And it's honestly who she was really accepted to be. So then, of course, she was accused again of witchcraft. And again, it really feels like these were men that she had stood up to who didn't like that. So she was accused again in 1692. And what's wild is she lived 70 miles away. But it was people in Salem Village that knew her. Men named Joseph and Jarvis Ring had named her as a witch. They claimed that she had attempted to recruit them to witchcraft. And then she was also accused by a man named John Allen, who claimed that she bewitched his oxen and drove them into the nearby river where they drowned. Absolutely ridiculous. Other people had accused her of making their wife's belly hurt and some other stupid stuff. So she was tried for these charges. And one of the things that the belief of the time was that witches would be unable to quote scripture. Yeah, unable to get the words out of your mouth. And in her trial, she quoted the Bible repeatedly, which should have proved her innocence, but it didn't because they chose to overlook that fact. That was apparently just a convenient fact that they could use if someone didn't know scripture that they were asking them to quote. But she did know the scripture they asked her to quote. So that had to bend the rules and change them because she did know. And that wasn't okay. The rules just kept changing, right? The goalposts just kept moving. It just reminds me so much of the time that we're in right now. It's just so crazy. So don't worry though. Cotton Mather, who you might recognize his name, was all over Salem witch trials. He countered the defense by saying that the devil's servants were capable of putting on a show of perfect innocence and godliness. So there you go. That's why it was okay. And he was a clergyman, he was a reverend. So, of course, what he said was true. So that's how they changed the goalposts. Suddenly, it reminds me a little bit of the fake news business, right? That if you don't like something, you just call it fake news. Well, in this part, if they didn't like something, they just called it the devil. Well, I mean, sure, she was able to quote scripture. The devil can do it. Once upon a time, we said the devil couldn't do it, but now that she did it, it can't beat that. So it was the devil for sure. So she was found guilty on all charges, and she was hanged, of course, on July 19th, 1960 or 1692. So a few things from her trial that I found interesting. She was laughing. She was not having it. Of course, they charged her witchcraft and sorcery. She was not allowed to have counsel. As soon as she walked in the door, the girls, you remember the girls who were, I don't know, gaslit or hysterically led to believe, or Jesus, to, you know, convict these witches. Uh, when she walked through the door, a bunch of them started having convulsions and fits and screaming and crying and claiming that she was hurting them. And of course, it was ridiculous. And she laughed. And the magistrate said, "What do you laugh at?" And she said, "Well, I may laugh at such folly." The magistrate said, "Is this folly, the hurt of persons?" And of course, she said, "I have never hurt man, woman, or child." And Marcy, one of the girls, said, "She hath hurt me a great many times and pulls me down." And then she laughed again. And that was part of them convicting her, that she thought this was funny. And only a witch would think that it was funny to hurt other people. One of the things I found very interesting is that she was forced twice to submit to a physical exam looking for evidence of what they called a witch's tit, which was the idea of having an extra nipple that would be used to suckle a witch's familiar. So there was this idea that the witches had extra nipples that they were feeding the their familiars or succubus with. Well, they examined her whole body twice because, of course, she had no right to her body or privacy. Hmm. And what did they find? Well, nothing. But that's okay. It didn't matter that they didn't find anything because there was an answer for that. The answer? Well, in the mornings, her nipples seemed fuller, and in the afternoon, they seemed more slack, meaning that this was while she was in the jail, that she was, through her regular nipples, providing succulent or succu she was suckling something evil during that time. They just couldn't see it. It's so asinine and ridiculous, it's hard to even get your head around. But that's one of the things that was used to convict her is that, yeah, nipples looked fuller in the morning and less full in the afternoon. So surely she was feeding some kind of an evil thing. The witch is familiar. After she died, at some point there was a marker put up at she and George's house. Later on, that marker had to be moved because they were uh, putting up a highway, apparently. And so, but this is the marker. So it's been moved, but there is a marker for Susanna Martin. It just resonates with me right now that women, we're still under attack. And we have been for a long damn time. But again, it feels like the goalposts are constantly being moved. Why are there even goalposts at all? Yeah, Chris said, we haven't come a long way, baby. Right? Yeah. Yeah. Kelly said, being accused of being a witch sounds like the precursor to being called a bitch. It sure does, doesn't it? Very much. Yep. Kelly said, good old Cotton Mather, 17th century Ted Cruz. It's so true. Yep. Yep. Sid said, it's hard to imagine how scary it must have been to be targeted and having the goalposts constantly shifting in order to suit the popular agenda. Well, yeah, there was absolutely no winning it. Once you were accused, you were effed. It didn't matter. But it just really, to read some of this stuff today, just really made me go, well, here we are again and some more that we have hysteria. We have people just, like all over the place falling for stuff. We have so much drama happening in this world. And we have women yet again under attack. And again, because of some supposed Christianity. Now, if you're a Christian, I'm not here to talk shit on you or your religion or anything at all, because I don't think that what's really happening here is Christian at all. I think it's a bunch of nonsense. I think it's completely ridiculous. Do I think it's Christian? No. The Christ that I was taught about growing up, there's no way in hell this is the stuff that he would back. I read a meme the other day that said we don't need more Jesus in schools, we need more Jesus in Christianity. And I think that's absolutely true. I think people need to get back to walking their own talk, but that's just me. Anyway, I just really wanted to put a spotlight on Susanna Martin today and others, of course, who lost their lives on this day so many hundreds of years ago. Yeah. All right. Well, let's keep moving. Hey, Evelyn. I'm glad you can hear me now. Let's see. The turning of women into livestock again, said Chris Diana. Yep, I'm with you. Yep, 100%. All right. Well, let's keep moving. Let's take a look at Luminous. So, Luminous, of course, is the magazine that I publish with a bunch of help from my colleagues who provide some beautiful stuff to me every single week. But I wanted to go through a few things. I put links in the chat room, but if you subscribe, you probably have already received it. It also went out on social media about 10 this morning, so it's been out for a couple hours. Oh, Maya said, "Thank you for the beautiful gift. You're so welcome. I finally got all my birthday stuff mailed last week. If you were supposed to receive something from me and you haven't, please let me know. I'm 99% sure I got it all out. Except for the birthday readings, I've been waiting for you guys to tell me you were ready for them. Other than that, everything has gone out. I think so. Hopefully, you did receive it. you know, it's chaos in here. In here, so doing my best, but you never know. All right, I'm going to share a screen here so that we can take a look at Luminous. All new art this week. I went with vintage butterflies. I love it. I discovered looking through old notes and stuff that I went with vintage butterflies last year, right about this same time. I don't know why. Apparently, this is the time of year that's what I want. I'm really working to get my stuff finally on Etsy. That's my big goal. Scott and Mars are going to be traveling this later in the week. I'm going to have a lot of downtime, time to myself, and my goal is to get as much posted on Etsy as I possibly can. Hey, Lioness. That's my hope. We'll see how I do. So I'll keep you posted. I called this edition the no nonsense edition because I really feel like that's where we're at. We're kind of done, right? We're not putting up with bullshit and shenanigans. I think that anybody who tries very much crazy making is going to get put in their place. My daughter was telling me about the softball team that she coaches, that helps coach. Now, these are all, young adults and late teens on this team. And there's one girl on that team that is the crazy maker. You always got to have one, right? And last week she had just really been working overtime to cause trouble and start fights in their group chat. And finally, one of the older girls actually made a video that went out to the group addressing her and the fact that no one's trying to stir up trouble in this group except for you. And I'm tired of it. And it's time for you to grow up and you have to stop. And a bunch of the other girls backed that up. And I thought that was pretty interesting because so often we allow this stuff, right? We kind of skirt around it. We kind of just we don't know what to do with it. We don't want to be the target of them, so we don't stand up to them. But I loved that this girl just went, "We're done here," and put her in her place in a way that a lot of adults don't dare do with their crazy makers. We can learn a lot from her, I think. But no nonsense this week. In my musings, I shared a gift with you. I've talked to a lot of you guys lately who are really feeling the other side, really feeling a need to connect, really feeling those who have passed and wondering how to do that. So I shared a class with you. This is pardon me, a class that I taught a few years ago. I've done this one before, but this is a mediumship group experience. It's like a deep guided imagery meditation to help take you to a place where you can have your own mediumship experience. So it is an unlisted Facebook link. So this is the only place you'll be able to find it is in Luminous. But this is where it's at. So you're welcome to watch that. Save the link if you want to, so you can come back to it whenever you want to. But I hope it helps some of you guys to work through some grief, also have an experience if you want to, and that it will help, right? Okay. Moving on, of course, lots of good meditations over at Planet Meditation. If you're looking for some good meditations, About all of the music that we have used, not all of it, but a lot of it has been solfeggio frequencies and binaural beats. And to me, though, that's some of the most powerful meditation music that there is. All right, bitch scopes. Kelly says a spoonful of sugar maybe helps us not be so crazy. We'll find out. Lots of good stuff here from Kelly. Uh, one thing, well, I wanted to read a scope, so we'll do that. How about whose turn is it? Let's do Capricorn since that Cap Moon messed everyone up last week. Next to the words no nonsense in the dictionary is a picture of Capricorn. Actions must have meaning, and wasted time and energy are terrible things. Embracing art for art's sake could be good medicine for you. Challenge yourself to do something that has no purpose whatsoever. Zero is where the real fun starts. There's too much counting everywhere else. By Hafiz. I loved that. My son, who's a Cap, if he feels like his time is getting wasted, he's absolutely livid. It pisses him off. He can be pretty combative about it. He hates feeling like his time is wasted. Now, he has no problem wasting his own, to be fair. But if someone else is wasting his time or using it in a way that he doesn't think is useful, ooh, it was one of his biggest complaints during college football is feeling like his heart or that, that his time was being wasted in various ways and he just wasn't having it. So I feel that for Cap Kelly. I really do. Okay. My tip is summer reading magic. There's so many amazing books coming out right now. We have to be reading. So I'm as always I want to know what you're reading because you guys have inspired some of the best reading for me ever. I thank you for that. You guys you are Oprah's list for me. But I have a recommendation for you as well. So the summer reading magic challenge would be 3 novels, an autobiography, and an inspirational book. And honestly, where I'm at, it's been too hot to want to do much else. I've laid in bed and read quite a bit. Only problem being, if you get the puppies in bed, you can't they don't cuddle. They play and wrestle and it's a rowdy show. So you can't lay in bed and cuddle with them, but if you lay in bed without them, then they cry at your feet or at the side of the bed to get on the bed. Hmm, get puppies, they said. I mean, it's probably fine, but yes, the puppies are not great reading partners. However, if I sit in front of the recliner, that's right in front of the air conditioner and it's cold. So if I sit in front of the recliner with a blanket, they'll come get in my blanket to stay warm. Then we can read. They're precious, but you do have to outsmart them here and there. But I want to tell you about a book. I just started it. One of my friends recommended it. I have a dear friend from high school that is an author, and she writes children's books about dragons, incidentally. Her name is Jessica Day, if you want to check her out. She's amazing. But she is a really avid reader and she posts a lot about what she's reading and reviews that are very trustworthy. So she recommended this book a while ago. When Women Were Dragons. You guys, it's so good. It's a feminist tale set in the 1950s about a moment when thousands of women spontaneously turned into dragons. It's awesome. It's great to think about women just becoming themselves, right? And sprouting their wings and getting ferocious and I don't know, maybe blowing enough fire to burn the heads off of some of the bullshit going on in our world right now. Anyway, I'm not very far into it, but I'm absolutely loving it. So I wanted to recommend it to you guys. But when I bought this book, one of the recommendations that came up was another book that I'm now dying to read, and I have not gotten to it yet. And now I can't find the title. I had it. Ah, I'm sorry. It has to do when women were witches. and I can't wait to read it. So I'll find it and I'll tell you guys about it too when I read it. But anyway, When Women Were Dragons is by Kelly Barnhill. Highly recommend. That's what I'm reading right now. So as always, I'm curious to know what you guys are reading. Oh, Renee, you're so welcome. Oh, Lillian said I'm going to look up that book. Sounds right up my alley. Uh huh. Yeah, it's great. We need more women to be dragons, I think. I think my mother was a dragon. I'm quite sure. Okay, moving right along. There's a new Sacred Journey of the Heart energy exercise from Christy. From Ginger, she's got Heart Happenings, brand new scopes from her. They are awesome. Over at the True Crime Squad, well, it never ends. We've got all kinds of stuff going on. And tomorrow we're putting out a brand new episode about the Daybell Vallow case, in case you're curious. It is still grinding along and there are still things happening. And we've learned a little bit about what Lori's doing these days at the jail. So we'll share with you what we know. And then Archangel Raphael for Anita and the Masters. Always a great angel to tune into. And Jamie has a brand new video. I hope you guys are watching Jamie's videos. They are so good. She uses the same cover every week, so I wonder if you don't recognize that they're brand new. But yeah, they are brand new and they're so good. So that's it. That is Luminous. So as always, thank you for subscribing and for reading. Okay. Oh, Chris said Living Untethered by Michael Singer. Chris, you also always have great book recommendations. Sid said, I just started reading an amazing book written by Terry Steuben, an animal communicator, called Tales of Triumph Animals Tell Their Katrina. Oh, hurricane stories. Oh, wow. So she worked with the Humane Society rescuing dogs, etc., and telling their tales. Oh, wow, Sid, that's awesome. I would love that too. Very cool. Lots of good stuff. Okay. Well, let's keep moving. Let's get to some readings, I think, and then we'll maybe get to some other stuff later. Pamela said she's about to turn into a dragon. Well, maybe we all need to read the book and figure it out and turn into dragons. It's time. It's kind of what needs to happen right now, I think. Okay, Tiffany said, sad question if you are able. When my dad passed over 12 years ago, he left his female dog Zoe to my brother, who is at work today. My mom texted me that she feels my brother needs to put Zoe down, and she told my brother that before work. So the question, do you see Zoe passing on her own today, or do they need to put her down today or tonight? I'm not there, but I trust my mom and sister's opinion, and I myself have also felt she needed to be put down for a while. We have all given her permission to leave and have told her she will be reunited with my dad and another dog, Maisie, and that she will be free of her body and happy again. Let's tune into Zoe. She is pretty miserable. However, for your brother's mental health, it would be better if we waited till he was off work, or at least give him an opportunity to tell her goodbye. Yeah, your dad's standing by completely ready for her. And Miss Maisie, she certainly won't pass alone. But she's very ready. Yeah, poor thing. She's had enough. It's tough to say that she will or won't pass on her own. I I I don't want to make that prediction, but I will say that she's in pretty rough shape. Poor sister. Oh, I'm sorry, Tiff. Of course, there's always some peace in knowing that she'll be back to dad. That's a happy place for her. I'm sorry, babe. Okay. Quelly is back on track and healing in divine order. I'm so glad to see that. I know that you have had major surgery and are working on it. I also see that I know you have such a beautiful family that's taking such good care of you. So I'm glad for that. I know that's just paybacks for all you've done for them, but that's wonderful. Okay. Mary said I could use a heart healing. One of my daughters is breaking my heart. Any advice would be appreciated. Okay, let's tune into that. Let's work on that heart here for a minute, Mary. All right, and I'm just going to work on your heart connection to her. I feel like time's going to heal this. The one thing I'm hearing, and maybe this is a phrase you can use with her and with yourself, but that conflict is temporary, but the love that you have for each other is a lot stronger than that. And that even if we need to wait out some conflict and give it some time to cool down, we're going to continue to love each other because that's what we do. Okay. The other thing I'm hearing is that there's been some respect violated on both sides, or at least perceived that way, and that respect is something that kind of needs to come back into the equation for both of you. Yeah. Mm, I'm sorry. That's hard. Mary said she and her daughter, or sorry, Laurie said she and her daughter have been struggling as well. I'm sorry. To you as well, Laurie. That sucks. It's not good. Okay. And of course, Pamela said sad and stressful family issues too. It seems like there's been quite a bit of that afoot. Okay. Evelyn said, I haven't been singing solos at church as of late. Could you tell me anything positive with Steve and me singing? He's my director and he's awesome. As a Capricorn, we have and a Capricorn. We have two big projects that we're working on, one next week and the other next February. Any and all positive thoughts are greatly appreciated. Very exciting year ahead. When am I going to sing solos again? Okay. I feel like these two projects they're kind of the catalyst for a few more things coming. I feel like you will be back to solos again sometime around October. That's coming. But both of these projects look to me like they are extremely well received. And one of them particularly, I feel like the one in February will spread from where you initially intended it to be performed or to be used to some other places. It'll be requested to be brought to some other places. Really good chatter there. Steve is awesome, but I feel like he really respects you, Evelyn, and respects your opinion and will continue to look to you as an ally and also as somebody who knows what they're doing. So that's good. There's a lot of joy in this and a lot of fun in this. I'm glad you get to be involved in it. It's good for you, but you're also good for it. Okay. Back to the chat here really quick. Oh, yikes. Okay, Amy said you were correct that we'd get an offer soon on my friend's house. However, it fell out of contract as the couple was separating. Oh, good Lord. Let's buy a house and or get divorced. Okay. Terrible timing. Do you see the buyer coming back around with a new offer? Mm-mm, I feel like it'll be somebody else. And actually, I feel like you're going to be back under contract before you know it. It's not going to take long for somebody else to come forward, but I don't feel like it'll be these guys. I feel like that it'll be someone else. Ugh, the world of real estate, huh? It's such a seems like until you sign on the dotted line, you just don't know for certain. Mary, yes, you did. You did. Just actually like right before you got back. So yeah, definitely listen to the replay. Okay. Running over to the other chat. Let's see. Let's try to get back to the start here. Okay. JR wanted a health reading. JR, I would love to, but will you give me a little direction on where you want me to focus? And I would gladly do that for you. Mm. So there is a huge fire burning in the area of Salmon, Idaho. And I can see right now we're going to be under the cover of smoke here shortly. It happens this time of year by the end of July into August, just about every year, especially the last several years, right? But I was thinking about how it turns the sun and the moon just red and orange, and how weird and unsettling that looks, but also the air quality. Ugh. But also just really thinking about that area today because that is wilderness that is absolutely full of wildlife. And it's some of the only places they've had left to go as we continue to develop and develop and develop. These fires just really worry me. I also worry about the heat. I was reading yesterday about the heat wave in Europe right now, how terrible it is and how hot it is. And of course, the US, we've been pounded terribly too. It worries me a lot for the animals and the homeless people. Being homeless is hard enough and bad enough without really extreme weather to make things more complicated. And it really worries me about some of these things. Yeah. Anyway, let's not forget those those that can't maybe get out of the heat, those that can't get into the air conditioning, those that can't just you know, run to Sonic and buy a Route 44 Diet Cherry Limeade me. Uh, but that need a little extra help right now with how cold it is, or I'm sorry, with how hot it is. Anyway, the heat is so miserable to me, and the sun is so, feels so evil to me. And not really evil, but you know what I mean. Anyway, it just worries me. It's one of the things I think about a lot. Make sure that you out in your yard that you just leave out more water, right? Bird baths, extra dishes of water, just more water around so that animals certainly have places to get drinks. That's something that we can do that's really, really important right now when it gets to be this hot. Evelyn, my honor. Okay, Laurie said my daughter just now sent me another hurtful text, even though I've been leaving her alone. No idea how to resolve this. She feels I've done things that put her in a bad situation, and I have, but not for the reasons she thinks. And she doesn't understand that I have to save myself and I can't save her too. It's so hard, Laurie, because you're such an easy target for her. She has also made a string of bad decisions financially and otherwise. And yet I feel like it's so easy to put her ire on you rather than take any personal responsibility. Not that she's taken none, but there's plenty she could take. It's just so easy to look to you as the target when she's miserable, when she's upset. It's hard too because I know she won't actually, there's no way to let you help in any way that's meaningful because the only ways that she wants help for you is in the ways of resources that you don't have to give her. And that's really hard as well. The resentment with her runs really deep. And yet, we both know you can only apologize so many times. And so, with stuff like that, I mean, unfortunately, right now, the options would be to block her number so that you don't see the mean stuff. But I know you don't want to do that because there's also grandchildren involved, or to just roll it off and know that this comes from a place of her being unable to deal with her own emotions and also taking her own responsibility for the things that have happened and just for her own situation. And at some point, she'll have to do that. But right now, it's just easier to put it off on you. I've also thought for a long time that when adults are struggling, it's easy to throw some of the blame back on your parents, especially your mother, depending on who your mother is. I see this with teenagers too, that mothers a lot of times will take the blame or take the ire or the evil or the angry or the whatever because they know that you're not going anywhere. They know that even if they get angry, even if they get hurtful, even if they get vicious, you're probably not going to abandon them. You're going to love them forever. So you're a safe target. And I know that's unfair and it's wrong, and yet it is something that I've seen a lot of times with children and young adults who are not even young adults, but adults. And I know that's not true of all mothers. Some mothers just simply aren't. They're not unconditionally loving. They never were. This doesn't apply to them. But moms who have proven over and over that they are going to be here for you no matter what, sometimes when the going gets tough, you're the one that hits the shit hits the fan on you because you're safe. And it's not fair, but it is something that happens. And I think in this case, Laurie, that's part of it. She needs somewhere to put it. She needs somewhere to put her anger and her hurt. And she's putting it, well, basically all over you. And again, it's not fair and it's not right, but it is what it is. So I'm sorry for that. You don't deserve that at all. Yeah. So something that's come up for me recently that is bothering me is some spiritual teachers that I'm seeing venturing back to kind of an old belief that got popular, I don't know, 12-ish years ago in the New Age community, that you have to believe a certain way, be a certain way in order to manifest. I think there's some truth to manifesting. I think we all manifest our realities in one way or another, but I don't think that you have to be perfect. I don't think that you don't get to feel your emotions. I don't think that that you have to constantly be putting yourself down for being who you are. And I've been seeing a lot of that lately, and it's really bothered me that that's coming up, this idea of worthiness, that you have to be good enough in various ways in order to get the things that you need or want. It's mean spirited and it's ridiculous. When my parents were diagnosed with cancer, people asked me, well, how did they attract that? What thought created that? Well, how did they create that in their life? They didn't. Their body got sick. Bodies get sick. Human bodies are doing the human body thing. It kills me that we ever believed that. And I did too, don't get me wrong. But it really kills me that we're still saying that. It's cruel and unfair to think that just because something bad happens to you, or because something that you need or want in your world hasn't come through, that you in some way are doing something wrong and you're not worthy of it. I hate it. I think it keeps us from growing, it keeps us from striving. I had a client that called me years and years ago. She said, I want to know when I'm going to get a better job. And I said, well, it looks like if you really hit it hard right now and start applying and clean up your resume and really get going, that you could have a better job in the next 2 or 3 months. And she said, I'm not doing that. I said, you're not doing what? I'm not applying. I'm not doing any of that. I am saying it so, I am manifesting it, and I want to know when someone's going to come to me with a job offer. And I said, well, they're not. They're not. And she was furious. Well, why? I said I wanted it. I put it out there. That should be enough. I told the universe, now where's my job? Literally, you guys. I was dumbfounded, but I was also sad because she's been taught that. Is it realistic to think that a new job making way more money in a better situation is just going to find you without any effort on your part? No, no, it isn't. But she'd been taught that. These are kinds of teachings that are dangerous and they're unfair and it needs to get better. And so I bring it up because I feel like you guys deserve better than that. You do. So a few days ago, I posted on Facebook, on my Facebook page. I had put up a post because I felt like, and I've talked to several of you lately that have been struggling with this idea of being worthy of the things that you want and need in your life. And it horrifies me. And I want us to do better as human beings by ourselves and by other people around us. So I had put up a post and said, just a quick reminder that you are enough. You are worthy of all of the gifts of the universe just by being you. Shine on. And wow, 106 people liked that post. 8 people commented, 3 people shared it, and multiple people messaged me and said, thank you. I really needed to hear that and remember that. Things have been really hard lately. I have felt like I was failing at life, yada, yada, yada. I'll put up that post every day for the rest of my life if I need to help you guys remember that truth. But for goodness sake, it's just really unfair. Really, really unfair. Let's stop it. Let's quit judging ourselves so hard and let's quit giving everybody else permission to judge themselves and us so hard. Life's hard enough. Let's not add this extra layer of bullshit to it. Can you manifest what you want and need in your life? Yeah, you can. You can attract the people and the things that you need to some degree, but your effort is certainly required. And yet, being sick, being angry, being hurt, those are not things that are going to scare away good things from your life that are destined for you. Those are not things that are going to create a horrific illness inside of you. And those are not things that you have to be afraid of, ashamed of, or shy away from. You are having a human experience. We all are. And it's time we start expecting that and respecting that in each other and in ourselves. Annika said that thought comes from the EHARD seminar training. Why did you create that? He was not in touch with his emotions. No, he was not. He also wanted us all to, think nothing, do nothing, be nothing, to become something, all while he and his girlfriend were couch surfing and letting other people go to work so that they could live like that. Is it realistic for all of us? God, no. Somebody has to pay rent, right? Somebody has to pay the mortgage. Somebody has to buy the groceries. He was literally sponging off of other people so he could live that way and preach it to other people. Yeah. And again, imply that we weren't enough, we weren't good enough because we weren't living that way. Well, God, sorry about it, but somebody has to earn the paycheck. Somebody has to do the laundry. Somebody has to keep the wheels turning. So those people aren't good enough? Hmm, that's quite the thought. Yeah, agreed, Laurie. You are always worthy. Yep, absolutely. The last thing I want to share with you guys today is a little more practical, but it's something that needs to be spread far and wide. So I'll use my platform to do so. And that is the new suicide hotline. The suicide hotline number is changing for the better. It's becoming easier because who, when they're having a mental health crisis, can remember an 800 number? You're going to have to look it up, and maybe you're not. Maybe you're not in a position to, and blah, blah, blah. So the new number is 988, just like 911, only it's 988. And it came to be on 7/16, so it's active now. And when you call or text, and this is the other cool part of it, you can text it. You don't have to call. Part of the suicide hotline, and there have been some other text groups come up here in the last few years to give them credit, but not everyone is capable when they're going through a crisis of calling. Perhaps you're not in a place where you can make a call physically, or perhaps it's very hard to get the words out. Perhaps you're a serious introvert and you don't want to talk to somebody. You don't have to. You can text. And they have trained professionals and counselors that will talk to you and help you figure some stuff out, help you decide if it's time to go to the hospital. If you have a family member that's going through this, you can call this number or text this number and get some guidance about what to do to help them. It's really important that we know it, that we remember it, and that we share it so that people remember that there are resources out there for them. There's always help and there's always hope. So again, it is 988. Text it or call it, and it will get you through to somebody who can help. So try to remember that for you. And that's here in the United States, to be fair. I know that you guys aren't actually all in the States, so I need to clear that up. But there you go. Liz needs an energy boost. Liz, I'm going to do that for you really quick. We're almost done, but I'm just going to give you a quick clearing. Your aura is actually really heavy. I feel like you've just taken a lot of stuff from other people collectively and also just people that you know, a lot of their energetic heaviness. So clearing your aura is going to make a big difference. And then I'm going to just wrap some good light around you. All right, guys. So don't forget that I am a professional psychic advisor over at one2listen.com. I am over there every single day, doing what I do. I'll be back over there this afternoon as soon as the show is over. You guys can find me. I'm glad to help you with anything that I can. I'll be back here next week. And then, of course, I'll be back over at True Crime Squad for the rest of the week if you want more content from me. That's what's going on. So, thank you so much for being here. This has been yet another production of True Crime, or not of True Crime. Where am I? This has been another production of The Katie Weaver Show here on 1 2 Radio, where we're changing the way you listen to the world.